Three creepy real stories with photo slash video footage. By is this Mr. Nightmares or Chilling Scares? By Mr. Nightmare. Shout out Mr. Nightmare. I love his content. Let's get started.
Mark was a college student living in Indiana. His house was quiet and sat next to some woods. During the day, everything felt normal, but at night, the woods made the place feel strange. Behind his house, under the patio, there was a hot tub. That's where everything happened. It was Saturday night, March 29th, around 12:30 a.m. Spring break was ending and school was starting again soon. Mark had his three close friends over, Kyle, Keenan, and Derek. They were spending one last night hanging out.
No, it's fucking
They were in the garage
break.
playing pool, blasting music, and drinking. Everyone was laughing and having fun. It felt like a good night.
Bro, this looks so chill. Except I feel like it'd get kind of like boring after a while. Like all you really got is a TV and a pool table. And that seems to be alcohol. I'm not legally allowed to drink, so I don't be doing that shit.
After a while, Kyle said they should go in the hot tub. It was cold outside, so the warm water sounded even better. Everyone agreed. They got changed into swim trunks, grabbed their drinks, and went into the hot tub. The warm water felt good as they talked, made jokes, and didn't pay attention to the time. Then they heard something. It was the sound of sticks breaking, like footsteps coming from the woods.
Bro, I have this exact hot tub. It looks like just like this. No joke. I go outside. It's right there. I was in it last night.
It didn't sound like an animal. It sounded like a person. They all went quiet and looked around. Keenan tried to calm everyone down and said it was probably nothing. The others laughed, but it was more to stop feeling nervous. They turned the music up louder and tried to keep talking. About 10 minutes later, a man walked out of the woods. He stepped into the light from the patio. He was wearing a long black coat, white sweatpants, and a gaming headset. His eyes were wide.
What the fuck? Fucking Redditor coming out of the bushes for the first time. Bro, if I'm with my friends and some Discord mod ass looking motherfucker just walks out of the bushes, I would, first of all, I might shower him, and then I'd probably tell him to get the fuck out. Like, where'd bro come from?
And his face didn't show any feeling. Everyone jumped. They yelled at him and asked who he was and what he was doing. The man raised his hands and said his name was Seth. He said he was 33 years old and he heard them laughing and wanted to join.
What the fuck?
The guys just looked at each other, confused. Mark told him to leave, but he didn't listen. Instead, Seth took off his coat, then his shoes, and then his pants.
What the fuck? Yo, what the fuck? Ooh, what is that build? Bro built like Elon Musk. Actually, no, he has a better build than Elon, but still. Oof. Looking rough, pal.
He was now in only his
And L hairline. That shit pushed back farther than the fucking seas during a tsunami.
underwear. Then he got into the hot tub. No one knew what to say. Mark pulled out his phone and started recording, not for fun, but because the whole thing felt unreal. This was the footage he captured.
Wait, I saw the dream right there. What was over here? I don't know.
Dude, they're drunk as shit, bro. If they're laughing at this, I'd be fucking terrified.
They started asking Seth questions, like where he came from and if he knew anyone there. He just kept saying he heard them laughing and wanted to hang out. Then he said something really disturbing. He said he had molested a child.
Dude, I'm with my boys, and there's a child molester coming out of the bushes wearing a gaming headset. I'm ending his life instantly. Instantaneously, I am ripping his soul out of his body in GTA.
That changed everything, obviously. The guys jumped out of the hot tub and started yelling at him to leave. They pulled him out of the water. Seth didn't try to stop them. He just stood there, dripping wet and staring. Then he slowly walked back into the woods without saying anything. The group ran inside and locked all the doors. Some of them laughed nervously, trying to shake it off, but Mark and Kyle didn't feel okay. They felt like it wasn't over. About 15 minutes passed. Kyle said they should go back out to lock the hot tub. Mark said okay. So they got flashlights and stepped outside. That's when Mark saw something next to the hot tub. It was a phone. He picked it up and saw the screen light up. Whatever was on the lock screen made him drop the phone. He didn't say what it was, but it scared him. He said he thought Seth would come back, so they ran inside and told the others. Everyone tried to stay calm. Then they heard a tapping sound on the window.
Oh, fuck
Mark already-
off. Fuck you. Good lord, I'd be terrified. And that noise is too realistic, bro. I have a window over there, but it's scary.
He knew who it was. He opened the curtain, and wouldn't you know it, Seth was standing right there. His face was pale, his eyes were wide open, and he had a creepy smile. He didn't say anything, he didn't move, he just stared. Mark yelled for Kyle. Kyle ran in and called the police. Mark grabbed a bat and went to the front door. He yelled for Seth to leave and take his phone. Seth didn't answer. Instead, he slowly walked around the side of the house. Mark followed a little bit and looked through the patio window. Seth was standing there again, staring inside. Mark told him the cops were coming and that he needed to leave, but Seth didn't move. He just slowly raised his hand and waved.
If I had a baseball bat, I'd be beating his head in, bro, in GTA.
Once. Then he turned and walked back into the woods. The police arrived a few minutes later. The guys told them everything. The officers searched the woods and found Seth standing alone, just looking toward the house. They arrested him for trespassing, and everyone thought it was over. But Mark didn't.
They didn't arrest him for child molestation? Kind of odd. He literally fucking confessed to them. I don't know. I feel like that's a bigger case than trespassing. He's a child molester. That's pretty odd and illegal.
Feel that way. A few days later, he saw a post on Snapchat from a girl who lived nearby. It was a video. It showed another man, not Seth, trying to break into her house late at night. That's what bothered Mark the most. It meant Seth might not be the only.
Bro, there's a group of molesters in the woods trying to get them, bro. Hell no, I'd be tripped out, bro.
One out there. There could be more. They could be connected, and they might not be done.
The tunnel.
A few years ago, 3 high school friends named Beck, Matthew, and Tyler decided to explore a sewer tunnel in their neighborhood. It was winter.
If this is on the West Coast, it's probably a homeless person. If this is on the East Coast, it's like the Mothman or something, bro. I live on the West Coast, and I know that homeless people live in tunnels. On the East Coast, I don't go there often, so I don't know. Could be anything. This looks like fucking, what is this, New Hampshire? Anything could happen there. So, yeah.
And very cold outside. The tunnel was at the edge of their neighborhood, under a small creek next to some office buildings. These buildings were empty and dark at night. The boys had seen the tunnel before, but never went inside of it. It always looked
Makes sense. Nobody usually goes inside of tunnels.
creepy, and they joked about it, but deep down they were curious. That night, they finally decided to go in. They brought sleds with them, thinking it would help if someone asked what they were doing. They knew they weren't allowed to be there, but they wanted to do something exciting. Just as they pulled into the parking lot, a police car showed up. A police officer got out and asked what they were doing there. Someone had apparently seen them on the security camera. Tyler quickly said that they were just going sledding. The officer looked at them for a moment, then told them to leave. So they left, but only for a little while. After driving around for about 30 minutes, they came back. This time, they parked farther away, behind a building where no one could see them. They walked down a hill behind the buildings. They could see their breath in the cold, crisp air.
Bro, if the fucking cop is telling you to leave, like, no, not even saying anything, just like, leave now, I'd be terrified. Usually, every time I've spoken to some sort of, like, officer or security guard in, like, an abandoned place, they're like, oh, you guys need to leave because if you get hurt, we're held liable. Dude, this fucking cop's just like, leave, bro. Just leave. And bro's being dead ass too, so hey, I'm trusting him, bro. I'm leaving. What?
They stood in front of the tunnel, noting how big, round, and completely dark inside it was. They turned on their flashlights and walked in.
Big, round, and completely dark inside. Oh, there's a video. Fuck no.
Dude, this is. Oh, look at the date, dude.
6/19/19.
19. Oh my god, this is
1919. They did not have spray paint in 1919. Did spray paint exist in 1919? Well, bro, this isn't 1919, it's 2019, dumbass. Bro, these kids. Wait, these kids are fucking dumb as rocks. They think it's 1919?
Dude, how did we even find this? Oh my gosh.
Oh, y'all are
Inside
dead.
the tunnel, the ground was dry. It was quiet, except for the sound of water dripping.
Oh, let me
deeper
guess,
in.
it floods.
The walls had graffiti all over them. Most of it looked old, but one thing caught their eye. A date was spray painted in large red numbers. 6/19/19. The paint looked newer than the rest, like it was done recently. That made them feel uneasy. Their flashlights weren't very strong and
All
didn't
this shit looks new. What?
shine very far. Still, they kept walking and acting tough, but deep down they were nervous.
What was that fucking diss? They kept walking and acting tough? Bro, what? Mr. Nightmare's bugging out.
The farther they went, the colder it got. The temperature was dropping fast. Even though they were underground, they could still see their breath. The walls looked like they had ice on them. Big icicles hung down from the ceiling. Some were huge and sharp.
Keep it slow, keep it slow.
Let me guess, one of them's gonna get hit in the head.
Oh, I see a light down there, see it?
I think I saw movement. Wait. What was that? Hello?
Should we keep going?
Can we keep going?
Move forward. Bro. Dude, and these icicles
No,
can like
don't do it.
impale you, dude. Look how like...
Fuck no, bruh.
Suddenly, a loud cracking sound echoing from further down the tunnel
Oh,
sends the
hell
group
no.
fleeing in fear. The sound resembled something heavy hitting stone. It wasn't any of them. The sound came from deeper inside the tunnel.
Might
too
it be
far
an
to see.
icicle?
They tripped, slid, and bumped into each other as they rushed to get out. When they got outside, they were shaking and breathing hard. That's when Beck noticed his phone was missing. He had dropped it while they were running. Tyler and Matthew told him to forget about it. They didn't want to go back in, but Beck didn't listen.
Oh,
He grabbed his
dumbass
flashlight
kid,
and
bro.
started walking toward the tunnel again. The others followed, but they didn't want to. The tunnel felt different this time. It felt even darker.
Bro, leave your fucking phone, buddy. Not worth saving.
The air felt heavy and strange, like something was wrong. Their flashlights didn't work as well, and the silence was even worse than before. It felt like something was watching them.
I feel like...
I feel like my pocket got like a little emptier over here. Like somewhere over here. Matthew, go over here this way.
No, dude, that's when we fucking heard the noise.
Shit, dude. Do I have to go back there?
Yeah, buddy.
You're going first, bro.
We're not moving the way.
Bro, this looks like some shit I would record, bro. No joke, this looks like something I would fucking record. Like, if I was like in the nighttime or something, I'd be like, bro, do I have to go in there?
Somebody else lead the way, please.
No, it's your phone.
At some point off camera, Beck found his phone. Afterwards, the group continued deeper into the tunnel investigating. And that's when they heard a sound.
It must have hit like here or something.
Y'all are dumb as rocks. You guys are fucking dumb as rocks, bro. Y'all are dumb as fucking rocks, bro. Oh my days, bro. Y'all already heard the banging.
A loud scream came from deeper in the tunnel. It echoed off the walls and felt like it was getting closer. They didn't wait. They turned and ran as fast as they could. This time, no one talked, no one looked back. They just ran. They got to the car, jumped in, and drove away without stopping. The car ride back was mostly silent. The three friends thought it was over when they all got home.
Oh,
They were
fuck
ready to
no.
move on with their lives.
Oh, fuck
But
no.
late that night, Beck's doorbell rang twice.
Oh, I'd be so
This
fucking
was at
terrified.
some off hour in the night. When Beck's dad went to answer the door, nobody was there. This, of course, begs the question, were the boys followed home that night? Or was it simply a very unfortunately timed ding-dong ditch? That remains a mystery. The night left more questions than answers for the three friends, but they all heard the noises and of course got it on video. Perhaps it was something they weren't meant to stumble upon.
Connor.
In April of 2022, a man named Connor took a construction job far from home as part of a 3-month accommodation program. The pay was decent, and
What
he
is
needed
bro
every
doing?
dollar. He wasn't in the best place financially, and the bonus
That's a
of working
jerk
alongside
machine.
his longtime friend Jim made the opportunity more appealing. They figured it would be a nice change of pace. Extra cash, time away from home, and some peace from the chaos of everyday life. The job itself wasn't bad. A few weeks in, Ryan had adjusted well to the routine, but the area they were stationed in was remote, deep in rural countryside. There were long, winding roads with barely any signs of life. It wasn't unusual to go miles without seeing a single home. Ryan had always loved the outdoors, and he saw this isolation as a chance to unplug. Most of his coworkers blew their weekends drinking, but Ryan had different plans. He wanted solitude. He wanted quiet. So when Friday rolled around, he packed his gear and prepared for a weekend of hiking and camping deep within the woods. A narrow trailhead just 5 minutes from
Bro, I love hiking. I'm not a pussy or anything, but I'm never going alone hiking or camping, especially camping. Bro, it's just the risk is too high for the reward, bro. The reward, yeah, it's beautiful. I don't want to sleep by myself in the middle of the night in the woods. Like, that's just not something I'd do. Maybe in, like, the desert, because there's nothing. But then the desert is like Breaking Bad. I might get shot. So,
his temporary accommodation became his entry point. Within 20 minutes, he was deep in the forest. The only sound was the wind and the crunch of his boots. He smoked a couple joints as he made his way further
W.
in, letting the stress just
that'll
melt
do
away.
it, bro.
The isolation was comforting for him. Well, at first. Around 7 p.m., the sun began to sink behind the treetops. Shadows stretched long across the trail. Ryan knew it was time to find a place to settle. That's when he noticed something unusual. There was a scent in the air, burning firewood, and a light layer of smoke drifted between the trees. At first, it
Something
seemed
might be
normal.
burning in
Maybe
the
another
trees.
camper, maybe a local. But then, he caught something just barely in the corner of his vision. The faint orange glow of fire flickering through the trees. Curious and confident, Ryan left the trail and headed towards the source. He wasn't scared.
You're
He
done.
trained in combat sports during his teens and stayed in
Yeah,
good
combat sports aren't doing shit, bro. They might have a gun or something. For all you know, you could be on private property, buddy.
shape. Still, something about this felt off to him. As he moved closer, he began to see strange metallic glints. Shopping carts, dozens of them.
Oh, that's weird.
They were tied to trees with rope hanging from the branches. Some mangled and suspended in bizarre positions, like a twisted jungle
What
gym
is
of
this
rusted
dude's
steel.
camera?
It didn't look like
Dude, is he recording on a fucking vibrator? Like, what the fuck is his camera quality?
a campsite. It looked like a ritual site, like something meant to be seen and feared. Ryan pulled out his phone and started snapping photos. He had to prove this to his friends someday because no one would believe it otherwise. Then, something even stranger caught his eye. Hung directly above the fire was a charred, old-fashioned duck ornament. Sitting in the duck's back was a scorched baby doll.
Oh.
The thing was melted, its limbs warped from heat. Ryan took a photo of that too, but the longer he stared, the more disturbed he felt. His chest began to tighten. The fire was roaring, clearly tended to recently. There were water bottles scattered around. Someone had been there or currently was there,
Leave,
maybe
bro.
still watching. He thought about turning around, thought about heading straight back to the trailhead, but something made him keep walking. He tried to convince himself it was nothing, just some weird loner, maybe drunk, probably harmless. Still, he checked over his shoulder more than once. 20 minutes passed, and he'd put real distance between himself and that eerie camp, but daylight was fading fast, and he needed firewood before it got too dark. He veered off the trail again, this time to gather supplies. He wasn't worried. He had
Dude,
emergency
bring
wood in
some
his pack,
wood,
but
bro.
not enough to last the entire night. He needed more.
God.
After about an hour of preparation, Ryan had set up his tent and built a small fire. It was around 9 p.m. when he prepped a steak
Bro,
and potato
that's
meal
like
in foil.
That is like some cult fire, bro. That ain't no normal fire. That's roaring.
And nestled it in the glowing ember.
What's the tutorial for that one? Never seen something so big in my life. Looks like a 10-footer maybe? God damn.
He smoked another joint to dull the anxiety, and for a while, everything seemed okay again. With his meal finished and the fire crackling, Ryan settled in for the night. He turned on a pre-downloaded playlist of true crime podcasts, listening to Cold Case.
Do you want to fucking die? Listening to true crime in the woods, in the dark, by yourself, while you just saw a bunch of floating shopping carts and water bottles and a fire that was tended to like a few minutes ago. Like, bro, it's like you're setting yourself up for failure.
Case files as the forest around him darkened. There was no signal out there, no distractions, just firelight and static-filled voices recounting unsolved murders. At some point, he drifted off to sleep, but it didn't last. He woke up suddenly. The air inside his tent felt colder. The fire outside had dimmed. He checked his phone.
That's odd.
4 a.m. He didn't know what had woken him up until he heard it. Whistling. A slow, eerie tune carried through the trees surrounding his camp. He froze. His body wouldn't move. It was like something inside him had shut down. He lay motionless, listening as the sound crept closer. Then the whistling stopped.
God, bro.
What followed was worse. Soft footsteps, fast, light, and quiet, circling his tent.
no.
He couldn't see them, but he could hear them crunching twigs and shifting leaves. His heart pounded in his throat. Then, without thinking, his body
Bro, what? Your heart's not in your throat, though.
finally snapped into motion. He jumped up, threw on his boots, and burst out of the tent. What made it worse, what twisted the fear into something primal, was that the footsteps had come from the direction he had entered the trail. The way back to safety was now blocked. He had no choice but to run deeper into the forest. He sprinted as fast as he could, crashing through brush
This is the Fears to Fathom song. This background music.
and low branches. But behind him, he could hear more footsteps, multiple, and they weren't in sync.
Oh, hell no.
The sounds overlapped, too fast and scattered to just be one person. There were two of them, maybe more. For 5 straight minutes, he ran until his lungs burned and his legs begged for rest. He found a dense cluster of trees and dove into the underbrush, burying himself in leaves and tangled roots. He didn't move. He barely breathed. The footsteps faded, distant now, but he didn't dare come out. He waited, still and silent in the dark. Eventually, he knew he had to move. He crawled through the forest with branches cutting into his arms and legs. Every step was slow and careful. When the trees finally began to thin, he broke into one final sprint. He recognized the trailhead, the way out, and he ran without stopping. No one followed him after that. The forest was quiet, but the damage was done. He got back to his accommodation and immediately reported the incident to the police. They took his statement and promised to investigate, but he never heard anything back. To this day, Ryan believes the people who chased him were the same ones who built that bizarre shrine of carts and dolls.
No, really.
What they were doing out there and what they wanted, he doesn't know. But it was more than just a creepy encounter. To him, it felt ritualistic, cult-like.
Really?
He finished his contract
Really?
and returned home, but the memory
Oh.
never left him. he still remembers the sound of the footsteps, the whistling, and the feeling of helplessness. If there's anything to learn from this story, it would be to trust your instincts. If you find something that doesn't feel right, you should leave. Ryan almost didn't, and he knows he might not have lived to tell the story if he had stayed. This video was me experimenting with a slightly different style. If any of you have personal scary experiences that include photos or videos and you'd like to submit them, email them to me and I'll try to make this style of video a new series.
Yo, I fuck with this new shit. The photos and stuff, cuz I watch a lot of Chilling Scares, and a lot of his shit is like footage. He does do stories, but a lot of his stuff is like footage stuff. I fuck with that cuz the actual footage makes it like I can believe that is true. Love story, Connor. Ignore Ryan towards the end. That's what happens when you're recording multiple videos. Yeah, facts. Having actual footage of these stories makes it so much better. The second one was trying to sleep. Says having a psychotic breakdown. Us. Love when stories have live footage makes it. Well, it's not live, buddy. This isn't now, dumbass. No, just kidding, bro. Last dude was a psychopath. Yeah, that's what I'm fucking saying. Last dude was a psychopath. Smoking in the middle of the woods, listening to true crime stories is crazy. Bro, this guy gets it, bro. I fucking understand that, buddy. Yeah. Nah, shout out Mr. Nightmare. Low-key top... One of my... I'd say my top 5 favorite YouTubers right now. Maybe even of all time. Hey, thank you for watching, everybody.